Bronte tweaked an ankle. Is that what happened?
Yeah, nothing major.
Okay. How does your room kind of sit heading into the summer?
The guys competing to work, competing to play. Him and Mike both had good springs. And the young kid Antonio Williams had a nice spring. Came in and worked hard and did a nice job as a young player coming in here, only being here for a couple months. So I like where our room sits right now. Got to have a great summer and get them away, catch their breath right now in May. Get back in June and July and do well in the workouts and things of that nature, and continuing studying the game, and then hit it running full swing in August and see where we go.
Did Mike Weber do what you expected this spring?
Yes, he did. He definitely improved. He definitely has grown up a bunch. He had a really good spring, physical player, which we thought he was, but he really started gravitating to really trying to learn this offense the way you like him to, so he did. Yeah.
Did he even exceed your expectations, or was he just...
I won't say he's exceeded them. I expected a lot anyway. I have high expectations of those guys, and so he did what I thought that he should be doing, so I was happy with that.
Tony, I know that you guys, these are young players, and there's a lot of these things that they still need to improve on. But to have a spring game after you guys had all that talent leave, and to have the young players that everybody expects to be good score and do things that they did, is it comforting to see that they made plays when they were given a platform?
Absolutely, especially in that environment. 100,000 plus people, which is a tribute to our fan base and the way they do things in Buckeye Nation. So for our players to come into that environment, have never played. When I started reviewing the tape with the walk-ons that played, and then the scholarship guys that played, they were all first-year players that never played before, and so it was good to see them do some decent things in the spring game, albeit they're nowhere near where they need to be yet. There's still too many mistakes, and for my liking, and for what we need to do to be highly successful.
From what it looked like, it seemed like Antonio was maybe a little bit ahead of the curve. It looked like.
Yeah, I would say that's probably a fair assessment. He is a little ahead of the curve, and as it relates to that, but it's still a long way to go. But he's a conscientious kid, and he's a pleaser. He wants to do exceptionally well. He's very hard on himself, and a perfectionist by nature, so we got some work to get done, but he'll work at it.
And I know the spring game is technically only one practice, but Bronte's a fifth-year senior, or he's a senior,
right?
And to not be able to play in that, and then to have the younger guys step up, was that a setback for him to not be able to perform in your mind?
No.
Okay.
No. Bronte's played a lot of football. Mind you, it's been on mostly on special teams, but he's been in that environment and on the highest of stages. So no, it's not a setback, not in my mind whatsoever.
Tony, when you have a guy who's been around like that and he's hungry, and then young talented guys, and an all-time guy has just left the program, second leading rusher here, is that, I think you'll understand this question, is that something where you love having that standard bearer that you can throw out and say, hey, you got to do this like Zeke did, or you got big shoes to fill, or can that be a dangerous thing for a position coach to say, hey, do this like somebody who was one of the best?
Well, I don't think it's dangerous at all. Okay. If you want to be the best, you just had a guy that walked out of the program, who left the program, who was arguably one of the best to ever play here, arguably one of the best in the country, so they know what it looks like, and I think that's a great. They had a great teacher, and how to perform like a pro. So I don't think that's a dangerous thing at all. I think it's a testament, one, to the culture that's been built, and it's something that if you want to be great, well, here's how you do it. And so you don't have to look too far. We don't have to go and try to find NFL tape. We don't have to go try to find other people to do it. We had a guy that was in the room that you saw every single day go to work that way. So I think it's a great situation for our players to be in, and to be able to just very quickly throw on some tape and practice tape, game tape, whatever it may be, and hey, walk out to the indoor facility in the month of February and March, and you see the guy working out. Well, this is what you see. This is how you do it, and so I think it's a great learning tool and teaching method for them.
Do you personally, when you see that tape, do you ever go, man, how are we going to replace that?
I don't have to turn on the tape. I just close my eyes. No, we got some good players. Something. Mike Weber's on scholarship. Bronte Dunn's on scholarship. Antonio Williams on scholarship. It's their turn. Go play. There was once upon a time when Carlos Hyde was here. No, I wasn't here, mind you, that no one was talking about Zeke Elliott. When he was a freshman, he was a third team back here. So the culture was built before Zeke, and Zeke obviously enhanced it and moved the bar. And so now it's someone else's turn to go move the bar.
Are you going to be in Chicago for the draft, Tony?
You know something? Zeke's father and them, they asked me to come, and I was flattered, beyond flattered that they asked me to be there. And but no, I'm gonna go out and recruit, and I think that's a special time for Zeke and his family. And again, I'm very flattered that they asked me to be there. I really am. But that's a time for him and his family to enjoy that time. That's something they've been working towards, this young man, for so many years. And again, but I'll be watching, no doubt, and I'm sure hopefully I'll be able to get through on the phones to him. I'm sure he'll be getting so many calls that day. But no, I'm not going to go.
So you say you're recruiting at the same time as the draft, and you guys are, a lot of your position coaches are going to have some first rounders you can point to. Have you thought about how you'll use it, how useful it could be as you guys go out?
Oh, I mean, we've been using it.
Yeah.
So it's not anything that's going to be new. I mean, we've been using that, and guys know. They know who he is. I don't have to toot that on. Hey, look at Zeke. Everybody knows who he is. So, in the way that we structure our offense, and the way the successes that have been here at this university. So, but yeah, we obviously use that to our advantage when we can.
How big
since
of
the
a
work
recruiting tool is that? I mean, what's kind of the reception to that?
It's huge. I mean, as far as you got 16 guys potentially may get drafted, right? When you can say, listen, here's testimonial. What we're doing is testimonial. It's not theory. And so this is how we develop our guys. They didn't listen. None of those 16 guys came in NFL ready, and they were developed by Mick and his staff and Coach Meyer and his staff, and then they were pushed by one another because once again the culture of the program that exists here. So yeah, that's a great tool.
Last year you're selling a national title. This year you're selling the NFL. I mean, I guess, does this just kind of carry the momentum on the recruiting?
I think so. Yeah, I would like to think so. Yeah, there's a lot of great things going on here in Columbus. The record I think was for the combine, and then it was the spring game, and then it was, or I should say before that, it was the pro day, and then the spring game. Now the draft, and leading up to all that was the national championship run, and so there's a lot of momentum, and hopefully we can keep it going.
Hey Tony, since somebody brought up recruiting, I've got a question that's not related to the draft and stuff, but is it make sense, or is it harder sometimes for an in-state prospect? I know that Cleveland is your area, to earn an Ohio State offer than it might be from somebody who lives further away because they jump on them faster?
I don't know. I don't know that. I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't say that. I mean, I think it's
because you guys have to get in early when you want somebody who's far away, and they.
I think you have to get in. Yeah, I mean, I think the day and age of recruiting, if you really want someone, you got to get going. And the one thing that Coach Meyer has been fantastic, and I'll just use me for instance, and no one else. I run my room. I'm the leader of my room, and we talk about it as a staff, and obviously he's intricately involved. But if the running back coach doesn't like somebody, or does like somebody, then I have say. I have a big say in that, and when we go, when we don't go, and when we offer, when we don't offer, if we offer, if we don't offer. Right. I have a lot to say in that deal, and but to say that it's different if it's an in-state, I wouldn't. I don't think I'd be prepared to say that.
Tony, how many teams would you say, you probably don't know the exact number, a number of NFL teams that have asked you about Zeke, questioned you?
Mid-20s.
I'm assuming they're trying to find some kind of
Trying to
number,
find
right?
it. I mean, so what do you? I won't say the team. I had the guy ask me. So what do you think of Zeke? I don't know. What do you think of Zeke? I mean, what do you want to say? What do you want to talk about? I mean, I think he's a great player. I think he's a great kid, and comes from a phenomenal family. I mean, the interests are always the same. And I was talking to a couple guys just yesterday, as a matter of fact, about him that were in the building, and yeah, I mean, what you see is what you get.
Is there a weakness to his game?
I don't know. Maybe he shouldn't have had the guy from Team Up North catch him. I don't know. No, I honestly, I don't. No.
Tony, but he did have the Michigan State stuff, and I don't know. Like we talked about it, but the first game of his career was starting running back at this place that didn't go his way. He stepped up to the podium and said some pretty, not.
Here's what I say about that. He's a highly, 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 highly competitive individual, and everyone loves it when it's in their favor. Well, he's also highly competitive, and some things came out, and he said some things that that were on his mind, and is what it is. And I think if you the time and place, I think he probably learned from that. The time and the timing of it may not have been exactly right, but he spoke his mind. I had no issues. I said, hey, it is. You know, he called me immediately walking off of the podium. Pretty much called me and said, here's what's going on. Here's what was said, and I said, all right, I get it. And Zeke loves this university. Zeke loves the guys in that locker room. Loves his coaches. That's never, ever, ever in doubt. So I didn't. I mean, listen, we can find somebody and pick at something out of everybody in this room. I put my paycheck. I put my paycheck on that guy every day.
Did not just what he said? Did that shake everybody up though? Maybe not necessarily what he said, but that game, did it shake everybody up in a positive way as you look back on it? I mean,
No,
just
I don't know if it shook
the whole
guys.
experience.
I don't know if his statement shook.
I mean, his statement
Everybody wants to say
necessarily,
that it
but, yeah.
shook the core of the program.
No, I meant the other way, but
You know, I think guys. Listen, our guys are used to winning here.
Yeah.
And when it doesn't go that way, that's a bad day.
Yeah.
And which makes it into a bad week. And it wasn't because Zeke made a comment. I mean, everyone knew.
Yeah.
Everyone's upset. And,
It was like out there.
and our guys responded, and
Yeah.
you know, luckily they responded the right way.
Tony, you were running back. I mean,